Fitzgerald, when he first started off with. 2011, he had 80 catches, 1,400 yards, which is the second, 1,411 yards, which is the second most yards he had in his entire career. And that's with John Skelton, Kevin Cobb, and Richard Bartle.
Richard Bartels.
As his quarterback. So he produced with terrible guys.
Yeah, but it took him 100 and how many targets? It was like 154, like almost.
But to your point where you're saying, well, he's getting 10, 11 yards a catch, he was averaging 17.6 yards of reception that year.
Okay, but that's true, and I'll give him that. That's really cool.
But somehow there's still a but.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely a but because it took him 100 and I believe it was
154 targets, but
154.
But it doesn't for overthrows, underthrows, bad throws to the other receivers.
And that also
catching balls from Dante Culpepper.
And again, that also doesn't account for the times that they threw it to him, and he doesn't drop the ball, so I don't give him that. I mean, I won't put that on him, but that it doesn't account for the times where they made good throws, but they were difficult throws because he couldn't separate. It didn't count for that too. It would take a real exhaustive study to look and see. Because he's not really been an extremely high efficient wide receiver for his career, especially considering that he doesn't run deep routes. That's what I mean when I talk about dominance. Again, he's consistently productive, and it's not just consistently productive in a Jarvis Landry kind of way. Larry Fitzgerald is a one or was a one. So I'm not diminishing what he's doing. That's what I need y'all to understand that. I'm not diminishing what he's doing. I'm just saying that for the most part of his career, he's been probably at the 98th, 95th percentile of possession receivers. And for me personally, I want my wide receivers to threaten down the field. Reggie Wayne was similarly slow, but he got deep too. And again, was that because of Peyton Manning? Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to look at everything, and we need to have an exhaustive study if that's something we want to do. I'm just saying, if we're just looking at numbers in production, even with the context of the quarterbacks, there's a case that could be made. That's all I'm saying.
I think that'd be a good thing.
An exhaustive study for what, though? I mean, he was one of the best at what he did, whatever it was that you want to say he did, whether it be a possession receiver or whatever, for 13 years. Like, he's been doing this for a long time.
Okay, let me ask y'all a question. Is Keyshawn Johnson a Hall of Famer? What separated him from Larry Fitzgerald?
He didn't produce like Larry Fitzgerald. Just being a possession receiver doesn't make him a Hall of Famer.
He didn't do it for nearly as long. And I don't feel like he had the same level of success with it. Keyshawn was a really exciting guy to watch for years, but he wasn't.
He was never. He wasn't close to his level.
I honestly think it would have been a better thing to bring up Andre Johnson or something like that. And then,
but Andre Johnson threatened down the field. But my knock with Andre Johnson is he had a problem getting into the end zone. He never had a double-digit reception season. Again, his quarterbacks and the weapons around him played a factor in that. But there are other receivers who, again, with similar quarterback situations and things like that, could make their way to the end zone more.
Who?
Then Andre Johnson. If I'm not, and you can confirm this, I think his highest touchdown season was 8.
For Andre Johnson?
Yeah, I think it was 8. I think that was in 2009, I believe. Again, this is just off the top of my head. He was more of a possession receiver with speed. I'll give him that. He could run.
His most 9 in 2009. He had 9 in 2009.
It was 9. Okay. Similar wide receivers who've had similar and still produce.
And granted, you also got to remember he was putting up 1,500 yards basically every year.
But he averaged 13, 14, 15 yards a catch too, and he was
13.4. Yeah,
and he was securing more of his targets than Larry Fitzgerald. So you're right. That was probably that was probably a better example that I should have used. Probably.
Yeah, because Keyshawn Johnson's highest yardage was 1,200, and that was it. So I think he's on the cusp. I think he needed a few more years. But to your point of the quarterbacks, you don't have. If you look at the all-time greats, they all had a very good to great quarterback to go along with. Look at Jerry Rice. He played with what, 4 different quarterbacks? Played with Steve Young, played with Joe Montana, Rich Gannon, and Jeff Garcia throughout his entire career.
I think he had Elvis Grbac too, if I'm not mistaken. Steve Bono.
And I'm talking about like with extended time.
Okay.
I'm not talking 1 or 2 games. I'm talking about a season.
Okay, so
T.O. and Randy Moss.
Yeah, T.O. is probably the best example of somebody who didn't. But T.O. played with McNabb.
As good as T.O.
T.O. played with McNabb.
He did, yeah.
T.O. played with Jeff Garcia when he was good. He also, what you said, Romo, right?
Yeah,
a young Romo though. It wasn't Romo now; it was a young Romo.
Well, Romo now is a corpse. So
true. 2014 Romo.
Okay, yeah,
I think that's wrong though. Your assertion that similar receivers could produce with similar quarterbacks. Most receivers, you're shackled. I think that's why it's so high, because if you don't have a decent quarterback, you can't produce. Johnson, he was a beast. Calvin Johnson was an anomaly. You typically don't get quarterback from receivers if they don't have a quarterback. Randy Moss, a prime example. He went to Oakland and people thought he was done. Then he resurrects his career when he get with Tom Brady and breaks the record. So
also
you have to have a quarterback.
They want to be in Oakland, so that plays a part in it too.
He plays when he wants to play.
Right.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash.
I mean, Josh Gordon had one of the best seasons in recent memory with Brandon Wheaton.
1 year though. It's not sustained. 1 year. I agree with you for 1 year. That's possible, but not to sustain over an entire career.
I think
DeAndre Hopkins this year is not producing, and he has what people think is better than Brian Hoyer.
I think I just had this person's name on the tip of my tongue, and I really just
Brandon
lost
Marshall. Brandon Marshall.
He's one, but
yeah, I give you that.
Patrick actually had a good season last year. He really did.
Because of Brandon Marshall. Because of Brandon Marshall.
It was one other wide receiver too, and it was literally just on the tip of my tongue. It wasn't Calvin Johnson. Shucks.
You got a team.
It was really just on the tip of my tongue, and I really forgot it.
What can you help us out?
A team conference?
Is he short?
I can't believe
Steve Smith produced with Jake Delhomme, so that's a good thing.
He did.
He was another guy I was gonna put on my list, by the way.
Me too. I couldn't get him in though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Steve Smith gets in. I don't. I love him.
It's tough.
I don't know if I don't know, because again, I look at dominance. When was he really the year he won the Triple Crown as a receiver? I think that was 2005. I think he's a 3-time All-Pro. That might be enough to get him in. I look at All-Pros for a level of dominance.
Yeah.
But you're looking. How long are you looking at dominance though? Because the guys you said have been maybe 4 years, but these other guys are if you're having 10 years of consistent greatness, I think that supersedes 3 or 4 years of dominance.
I agree.
I mean,
If you're great, if you got a couple years where you're the top dog, you know, that's cool. But if you're not up there, if it's up and down, that doesn't really matter.